Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Pat Gear. I'm the administrative proxy for the Commonwealth of Virginia, and I am the chairman of the Spiny Dogfish board today. Welcome, everybody. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody. Everyone's all excited about that, I'm sure. We have Kirk Blanchard, who's the SMFC law enforcement partner, is somewhere in the room if there's any questions to law enforcement. And I have our expert, James Boyle, off to my right. And before we get started, Bob has an announcement.
Great, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, just before the board gets started, I want to introduce a new commissioner from North Carolina. Representative Brian Turner is in the back corner waving his hand. He is the new legislative commissioner from North Carolina, appointed, I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday of last week, and re-racked his schedule and came up here for the next couple of days. So please welcome him here and welcome Representative Turner. I should have done the same introducing Carl at the last meeting, but Carl seems to have been around so long that I've known him forever. So my apologies, Carl, for not introducing you at the beginning of the Lobster meeting. So with that, it's all you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Welcome aboard, sir. Okay, first item on the agenda today is the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes or modifications to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda is approved by consent. Approval of the proceedings from the February 2025 meeting. Are there any modifications, changes, or updates to that? Hearing none, consent approval. Is there anybody here for public comment? Anybody in the audience or online? None online. Moving right along. We're going to try to set a. Oh, we do have James Fletcher. We do have one. Mr. Fletcher, you have the mic.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, sir.
Okay. This dogfish management plan does not include the male stock that stays offshore outside of 200 fathoms. And all of the numbers that we're dealing with, because there has been no survey out there, are highly suspect. So before the before the commission gets in and puts in poundage quotas, can somebody please explain to an old person, if you've never done a survey where the fish are, you have information for satellite tags where the fish stay. Can somebody tell me how we set a quota? Because the science is not science, and we are not harvesting what are out there, and by not doing that, those fish, or the male fish, have not been harvested since the Russians left in the 70s, and they are putting pressure on all of our other stocks. So can the management board or whoever try to help industry get some male fishery going? And I thank you for your time. Thank you, United National Fishermen's Association. I appreciate you letting me speak. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Fletcher. Is there anyone else? Not seeing any. We're going to move on. We're on to item 4, which is consider the technical addendum. There were a couple of language changes, and it was one mistake in one of the coordinates that needed to be corrected. So I'll give the floor to James at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, this should be a pretty quick presentation. So at the winter meeting in February, the board approved Addendum 7, which aims to reduce Atlantic sturgeon bycatch by prohibiting overnight soaks by state spiny dogfish permit holders using certain gill net mesh sizes in specific times and areas off of Maryland and Virginia. However, Addendum 7 inadvertently had a typo in the coordinates for one of the areas and did not include text from the final rule published by NOAA Fisheries that specifies which end of the mesh size range should be included in the management measure. So therefore, staff has drafted a technical addendum to correct those errors. For the first issue, there was a mistake in the longitude of the northwestern point of the Delaware and Maryland bycatch reduction area. Instead of reading 75 degrees 60 minutes, the longitude 60 minutes west, the longitude should be 75 degrees 6 minutes west. The correct value is displayed in decimal form in figure 1, which was included in both Addendum 7 and in the federal action, 75.1 degrees. The second issue is regarding the mesh size range. So the final rule published by NOAA Fisheries specifies that the range is equal to, quote, equal to or greater than 5.25 inches and less than 10 inches, end quote, whereas Addendum 7 just says between 5.25 and 10 inches. Since the stated objective of Addendum 7 is to maintain consistency with the federal action, If approved, the technical addendum will correct the error in the coordinates of the Delaware and Maryland bycatch reduction area and replace the text in section 3 with the language on the slide, which clarifies that the range includes the 5.25 inch and excludes 10 inch mesh. And with that, the board action to consider today is the approval of the technical addendum, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Any questions for James? Thank you, James. Hearing none, we need a motion for this. John?
Sure, just wait. I was just waiting for it to go up. Yes, move to approve technical addendum 1 to addendum 7, effective immediately.
Second by Eric Reed. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, I'll read the motion in. Move to approve technical addendum 1 to addendum 7 effective immediately. Motion by Mr. Clark, seconded by Mr. Reed. Is there any opposition to this motion? Hearing none, approved unanimously. Is there anything else on the agenda? Okay, James is going to give an update on the compliance reports?
The implementation.
Implementation plans, I'm sorry.
Thanks again, Mr. Chair. So yeah, it's not on the agenda, but just a quick update on the implementation plans for addendum 7. We received plans from both Maryland and Virginia before the issues in the technical addendum were raised. So we're just waiting on one more update from the Virginia implementation plan, and I'll send out an email for the board to approve them once we have that. Thank you.
Is there any other business to come before this board today? Hearing none, is there any opposition to adjourn? So moved. This meeting is adjourned.